This is the sound of an intermediate mountain biker crashing because they took the wrong path to mountain bike mastery.
That kind of hurt, actually.
Now, there are 5 different paths to master the sport in mountain biking: to find flow, jump gaps, link corners, win races, turn back the clock 1 or 2 decades. But only one of them is the fastest and the safest, and I'll prove it. Hi, I'm Dave Davidson, former Division I racer, Red Bull night shift host, and performance coach. You're going to want to listen to me, not because I'm some veteran pro who's won every World Cup. True story, my first big send on a bike was straight over the bars and into the urgent care with a broken collarbone. Smooth move. You can trust me because I've been through losing my skills and having to reactivate them at an older age. I've had to do it by rebuilding my body after having a full-time job and stress and a family. Now, I know you get promised this one tip will revolutionize your riding forever a lot, and I promise this isn't another YouTube clickbait. Instead, I'll show you the 5 paths that 90% of riders are stuck on. Then I'll map out the new, faster way that's essentially borrowed from what Red Bull and World Cup athletes use, except it's retooled for intermediate riders. And then I'll give you the action plan to put in place to hit your riding goals in 2025. And I'm about to share something that will make the bike industry furious. Your 29er, e-bike, and YouTube drills are just adult training wheels. They won't help you break the intermediate skill plateau. Instead, you need instinct activation. It's how intermediate riders are suddenly clearing gaps, dominating drops, and shredding gnarly downhill runs without the fear of crashing, especially if your body doesn't work like it used to, and even if you don't have much time to practice or have been off the bike for years. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my story on how to do this, but first of all, how do you know you're stuck on the intermediate plateau in the first place? Here's exactly how you can tell it's happening to you. You know your basic body positions, you know the idea of what to do, and you look like a mountain biker to the untrained eye. What actually happens is your body disobeys your mind, you ride tense, stiff, and tired, and your bike is the one saving you, not your skills. So a super quick example, just manuals. You know you need to find the balance point, you know you need to push the bike forward, and even my mom would know if you got the front wheel up, but the harder you try, the heavier the front wheel becomes. And the balance point feels more like a full body clenching and the front wheel slams down. Worst of all, every aspect of riding is a fight with the bike. But here's the thing, remember when you were just a kid, how you just do things?
I can't catch you.
No overthinking, no fear, just pure instinct. That's what we're going to awaken. This means the muscles you need for basic control of the bike are inactive and weak. How are you supposed to manage blazing speeds over jagged rocks? Or how about that manual? The actual technique of a manual is to bounce the front wheel up, then sit back and hang off the bars. Now, the hard part is using your instincts. Balance, strength, coordination, timing, proprioception, without even having to think about it. So this pro isn't struggling, his instincts are activated, and that's what you need so you can be a group ride leader and actually deserve it, so you can send it confidently down any line, so you can enter and win races and let your bike take you on amazing adventures. Listen, this matters because there's 5 old ways the bike industry pushes progression, and I don't blame them. This is what worked with the first wave of free riders back in the 90s, because all the people doing mountain biking were unnaturally talented, they were brave, they were athletic, plus they were willing to break their bodies just for the fun of it. So can you see why this works for teenagers, but could be extremely dangerous for anyone else? The Orthopedic Journal of Sports Medicine says mountain bike injuries jumped 64% in 1 year, mainly from over-reliance on e-bikes and overconfidence on techie terrain. Riders over 30 are the #1 demographic for serious crashes, especially after they level up their bike. The Injury Journal documented that fractures exploded 247%, mostly wrists, shoulders, and spines, and most from intermediate level crashes. Now, you're 7 times more likely to suffer a spinal injury riding mountain bike than skiing or snowboarding. I know a young man who paralyzed himself on a trail that I ride with my friends. This safety crisis is not okay. Listen, there's 9 million riders worldwide, and Vital MTB shows 82.8% of riders are over the age of 30. That's nearly 8 million riders stuck on the slow path, forcing techniques that actually increase their chance of serious injury. What are the chances that you're one of the 8 million riders on the slow path? Old way number one, buy a better bike. It's just an expensive Band-Aid. The truth is, you don't need a better bike if the root cause of the problem is athleticism. Number two, watch more YouTube tutorials. YouTube's awesome, but even if you do find exactly what you need, you get information overload because it's buried behind thousands of hours of content. You don't have time for that. Replay a World Cup 9 different times. Watch different influencers, go faster, learn more, and then you smell something burning. That's not your brakes overheating, you're in how-to hell. And ultimately, the path of indecision is 5% of good tips buried inside of 95% overwhelm and contradiction. So it's smart to find some more structure, yeah? Gradual progression. I call this bad habit hiding. Smart riders, they know muscle memory only works if the habit is right to begin with. Gradual progressions are the reason why riders take so long to progress, because it doesn't prevent bad habits sneaking in. I don't even feel like I need to mention this one, but just send it behind a better rider. Hello, hospital bills. You can't crash your way to confidence. Again, following better riders, it's fine if you need a bit of stoke, but it won't give you skills. Now the fifth path, it is the closest thing to what you need, coaching and clinics. But there are 3 glaring issues with coaching and clinics. 1, coaches are great. I'm certified, but certifications, as I know, only teach instructors how to demonstrate technique. But did you know you can force perfect body position using the wrong muscles? Let me say it again. Did you know you can force perfect body position using the wrong muscles? Ultimately, your body knows the difference and you'll feel the doubt creep in as you grip on the bars in desperation. So it's not the instructor's fault, it's just that modern curriculums are designed around athletes, or they're dumbed down for beginners, leaving the intermediate riders in the dust. Number 2, coaches and clinics, they fall short if your real issue is your fear response. You will not get rid of mortgage brain in a session. Instead, you build a way to confidently address fear over time, and unless you plan on attending a clinic every weekend for the rest of your life, clinics and coaches aren't really designed to do this. Finally, coaches and clinics suffer from hurry up and wait, where you rush to the trails, cram your learning in, and then days or weeks later, you may feel like you're in a bit of a vacuum. So traditional coaching models don't integrate well with homework and feedback over months, which means you only get little bursts of progress. You need a new path instead, one the industry doesn't want you to know about. And here's how I accidentally discovered this path, one that activated my instincts. I found riding at 20 years old. I got elected the president of Clemson Freeride, and I built some of my own features with my friends and just got hooked on riding. And we all had that moment where we make a promise to progress. Mine was that moment where I threw a whip past 90 degrees on a jump I built for myself, and a pro rider exclaimed, "Whoa." It made me believe in myself, and I swore I would pursue that feeling forever. Now, what about you? Do you recall that moment when you got locked into riding, when you just decided it was gonna be your thing? It made you hungry for more. So I got really good, really fast by doing the exact old paths I just talked about. I rode constantly, I practiced manuals till my back hurt. I built jumps and berms, I rode them, I built bigger ones, I rode them. I followed better riders. I pushed through arthritis, broken collarbones, scraped, bruised, battered my body, and I loved every minute of it. It worked really well because I was 20. Then years later, after I decided to get married, have kids, and buy a house, it all fell apart. I headed out to my local downhill trail to get my last ride in before a home renovation project, and I kissed my pregnant wife goodbye for the trail ride. Now, I expected her to say, "Go get him, killer." Instead, she said, "Aren't you too old for this?" Then my worst nightmare came true. I didn't crash, something worse happened. On that ride, I forced every move. I death gripped the bars, my legs burned, my back ached, and it wasn't fun. So I tried to stop and reset, and it didn't work. For the first time, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just sell the bike. I just didn't really feel slow. I actually got passed twice that day by a grinning rider in his 60s, and I was barely 35. At this rate, I'm thinking I'll be 99 in a few years. The rocks and roots that once brought me joy instead gave me my first case of what I call mortgage brain. So I quietly let the bike collect dust, and it reminded me that I was once a good rider every single time I walked past it to get the tile for the bathroom. Now, here's where it gets interesting. My sister introduced her fiance, John Lindsay. John was interested in movement flows, and his career was restoring performance for thousands of these older athletes. So I asked him for the I'm too busy to ride or sleep plan, just so I'd have something to do for the first few hours a week. He gave me these 2 pages, and he walked me through each move, explaining not to treat it like some other workouts that I'd done. So I followed his protocol, and the moves weren't hard like my weightlifting workouts, but they really challenged me. I felt strangely restored, like everything else I had done to wear myself down felt like less of a thing. And after about 60 days of brutal tile work, a stressful day job, and a newborn, I escaped back to the trail. So I went out to the same trail I had just given up on, and I rode better as a dad with a stressful job than I ever did before I had responsibilities. And all I did was this custom workout. I called John and said, "Man, what did you do to me? I feel fine now." I practically shouted. My head didn't even move over the rocks and the roots. I was floating. It was incredible. I thought to myself, this is the feeling I had actually been chasing when I made that promise to myself to stick with riding. And it came at almost age 40. So I started sharing this with my friends. I shared it with riders in Colorado, in California, in Canada, and then overseas, and they all noticed the same thing too. They started picking up on skills extremely quick and avoiding crashes altogether in some cases. Or if they did crash, I heard, if I did that before, I would have gotten really hurt. The secret path, look, it's hard to make and it's custom to every rider. And that's why I've developed our virtual performance center inside Mountain Bike Academy called the Athlete Accelerator. It makes perfect sense. Titleist has the Titleist Performance Center, Red Bull has the Red Bull Performance Center, BMW has the driving school, and now mountain biking has one too, and I'm proud to share it with you. Here's what some members of Mountain Bike Academy have said about their experience.
The blood rocks are pretty heavy black. And I noticed, so the group, I was just blowing away the rest of the group. I mean, a little bit more than I do. So I don't know if it's confidence or the program's really working, but I just felt very solid on the bike. I wasn't, I was floating and I just felt in control, man. I just balanced, and I'm a pretty fast rider. And, you can just blast through rocks at speed and survive. Yeah. But this was fast and controlled. It was pretty sweet, and even the pro rider was commenting. He's like, "Damn, dude, you're right behind me." So that was a pretty awesome compliment.
This is the world's first performance center specifically for intermediate riders, and we do what no other coach or clinic can do. Our software and coaches assess both your body and technique simultaneously with the certified movement practitioner and a riding coach side by side.
I've been doing the workouts that you guys gave me religiously, and I feel better than I've felt probably ever. I finally feel like I've cracked the code. It never gets debilitating like it used to. I used to have to spend days or a week or longer kind of doing nothing to let it heal, and since I've been working out more and doing all of the workouts that you guys gave me, it's pretty amazing, the transformation. I feel that's kind of life-changing, to be totally honest.
This virtual performance center activates your riding instincts through off-bike training, so it's 100% safe. Then we coach you to bring it to the trail where it counts.
Yesterday was a very encouraging day. It was fun. So much more consistent with wheeling and manually. And with wheeling, I was wheeling for long enough where my body was just getting tired, just from being in that different position,
Yeah, it's not easy.
Wheeling, and every muscle in your body, every muscle in your body, I think, is participating. So I was just getting tired just from that, which I never really experienced before. So it was fun.
And finally, this model permanently rewires your mindset to overcome fear and ride even when there's chaos. Bud, so stage wins. How did those feel?
Very good. Confidence. There was nothing that I came across where it was like, I don't know if I can do it. I just dominated that with, I've done 10 times bigger than this. This is nothing. I can do this all day long, and just, to believe in myself.
And our team is world class. John Lindsay has a master's in exercise science and a degree in sports medicine and experience prolonging the careers of thousands of athletes to give you a custom instinct activation workout. I've coached hundreds of riders through the athlete accelerator, and personally I've been mentored by elite athletes like Shams March, a Red Bull Rampage competitor. He's a US Olympics coach and creator of the Bike Instructor Certification Program. And interestingly, what I found is this is exactly how busy pros practice. They train, they progress their skills this way. It's mostly virtual. We've found that the busiest, most ambitious riders don't need a lot of in-person time. They mainly focus their training off the bike to maximize safety, just like we do. Then they have hyper-customized feedback dripped to them over time to lock in advanced skills. Now, our software is great, but here's the tough love part. You're still gonna crash. That's not negotiable in mountain biking, and the real question is, do you wanna roll out of it laughing or hear that sickening crunch followed by a hospital bill? Or worse, do you want to stay stuck for another season while your nice bike reminds you of the rider you could be? If you're ready to stop watching kids have all the fun and start riding your true potential, here's what to do. Click below to book a Shred with Confidence call. On this call, we'll identify what's really holding you back, map out your custom progression plan, show you exactly how to hit your goals. Goals like finally leading the group ride and actually deserve it. Goals like saying, watch this when your kids or the kids ask if you're hitting the jump. Goals like making your buddies ask how you got so good so fast. And goals like honoring that deep desire to hit the big feature calling your name at the bike park. It's being able to come home victorious from a place like Whistler or a bike park of your choice. And finally, look, it's about riding better as a professional, whatever you are, than you ever did when you had zero responsibilities. But I want to be clear, I only work with riders who are serious about progression. So this is for riders committed to enduro, downhill, trail riding, free riding, dirt jumping, cross country, pump track, and who want to grow their skills. Your bike doesn't matter. Hardtail, enduro, trail, e-bikes, they're all welcome. Now we open just 5 enrollment spots per week, and if you're seeing this, there may still be one open. This is not for casual riders or riders only interested in watts or heart rate. Now to see if you qualify, click below now to book your call and fill out the form. Remember, while you're reading this, another rider just discovered instinct activation and is about to leave you in the dust. Don't let that be your story. That riding dream, it isn't selfish. It's your path to mastery, and it's worth pursuing right now. Book your Shred with Confidence session now and be the rider you dream of inside, out on the trails where it really counts.